first ritual is that rituals are events that represent moving from a current to a new state. Just like in birth or marriage, rituals often act as a bridge between the past and the future. How do you see that in portfolio and project management?
Well, I think the first ritual in terms of establishing or understanding that project portfolio management is needed in an organization is just to see, the trend or the situation about we have too many projects. So it is one current situation in many organizations. So my first, I think the first ritual I consider is just to be aware of, okay, we have a problem because we have too many projects and we don't know how to establish different priorities and how to select them and how to move forward. So this...
Go ahead.
It's always a difficulty, getting not only the understanding, but also the agreement about the management as a team.
So you're saying, sorry for interrupting. So you're saying the ritual from the current state is knowing you have so many projects, and the future state would be
how to select the right projects and doing all the projects right. So all the selected projects getting it done right. Because in many occasions, what I discover is in several customers I consulted for, they were running projects that were unuseful, and they were projects that were not adding value to the organization. So this is one of the things is just how to establish a mechanism in order to decide in which project to invest.
All right. Now, if a ritual is from a moment to move from the current state to the new state, to the new way of working, does that happen in one meeting for PPM, or is that several meetings and several moments?
In my particular experience, it consists of several meetings. I mean, it's a real teamwork management effort. So it's one of the things that are changing. For instance, when you are thinking about a project and you are thinking about the need to find a sponsor for project portfolio, what the organization needs is just how to get all the managers working together as a team. Because obviously, from every business unit's perspective, every manager believes that his project or her project is the most important. I mean, is the project who is adding the maximum amount of value to the organization. No, you need to select my project because it is so strategic. No, it is I'm coming from sales. I am selling services to customers. My project is much more important. So getting into discussion was, first of all, it's funny because I got a lot of fun seeing and observing the different perspectives and different angles and different views from executives. But on the other hand, is how to get an agreement, how to agree upon a common systems, allowing them to make dynamic decisions. That is, from my point of view, the objective of portfolio management.
And in your experience, do you see some sort of repetition or some sort of process that people go through that will always end up towards that new state? Because it's basically a change of mindset, isn't it? What you're describing.
It's always giving the example of my personal life. For instance, I have a portfolio of 5 components. Those 5 components are my wife, my 3 children, and my dog. So
very important.
It or define projects, programs, and also operations with all the components of the family. So when you are changing your mindset, you need to establish priorities. So it's one of the things that people need to understand is not all the projects, programs, or components from my portfolio can be done at the same time with the same resources, with the same effort, using the same investment or same money. So this is effectively such a mindset. And also this mindset, as you told me, were repetitive all the time during my life. I was lucky because I have consulted many financial organizations, and in financial organizations, usually most of them are focused on money because they are managing money. But sometimes they are not conscious or unaware of the type of projects or initiatives they are taking are not the right ones, because they are not adding value to the organization or to the customer. So definitely it's a mindset change.
Wonderful, wonderful. I believe also that implementing BPM characterizes a new state of working, right? It's new roles, it requires new responsibilities and processes.
Yep.
And I think rituals can be an important tool to introduce this new way of working. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think so. I think, processes are the key. Obviously, discipline is first in terms of how to understand not being able or not following the principle of customizing one by one, but finding out what is in common and how to establish a common procedure and common set of steps to be followed by the organization. So I had the opportunity of a couple of years ago of consulting a company, in fact, collaborating with professional with
Practical
your
thinking.
Yeah, exactly. And I can remember it was a telecommunications industry, So the thing is that they were thinking about, okay, well, we have a portfolio because we have just a list of projects or programs in an Excel spreadsheet, but we're not able to see what is the real good project to invest in because the added value and the final return was not as expected, right? So the thing is that I maintained several meetings with all the managers, trying to discuss and to get any type of small agreement, step by step, because those things needs to be done step by step, my personal experience. And through the discipline, we define it, a common process. But then you need to sell inside the process, inside the organization. So it was the wonderful thing was that I was proposing a model, but the model was built up by the customer with the real experiences from the customer, with the real life experiences among the difficulties and conflicts generated among departments. Because obviously, when you are trying to explain it to define any other discipline or method, or in this case, to define a simple process, some people agree, but other people disagree, or they cannot see the same thing because they are thinking usually not only out of the box, but also out of the department metrics or measurements. So it was always a challenge, but it works.
It works. That's wonderful. Thank you.